Got to ask you, I'm sure you saw the stats going around before the start of the match. If we took a table from when Gerrard first came here till now, his Villa side would actually be in the top half. They're not too far off right now. They could have gone 10th if they'd won today. They're in the 11th. How do you rate his first job in the Premier League so far?
I think it's a learning curve for him. Obviously, he's done great job up in Scotland, and then he moved down to England. There's a lot of expectations. I think at the moment he's assessing the team. He's trying to find out who is good enough to go and compete next year. Because what I feel at the moment, I think probably he feels as well. It's like a nearly team. You know what? We play one or two good games and then we nearly got a result, or we just play a good half and we nearly got a result in a full game. So for him, it's about the learning curve. I think next year will be completely different. He will build a completely different team. He will build a team that can compete and dominate, because that's the way he was as a player. That's what you would like to see his team. And today he tried to compete. He didn't want to sit back and just see what's going to happen and get beat by one. He wanted to compete. He wanted to make sure that he put his stamp out there. So I think next year will be quite interesting for Aston Villa Football Club.
Give us a shout. I mean, with the exception of making the Coutinho deal permanent, which looks likely, there's a lot said about, because Gerrard is here, is going to attract these big players. Who do you want to see at this club? Don't say Messi or Neymar or Mbappe.
Suarez was mentioned.
Suarez? You see that happening?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Because
get the band back together.
Sometimes getting a player like that. This is what, with Steven Gerrard's profile, that's what the Villa fans expect now. Bringing Coutinho here, now he thinks that everything is possible. With the new owners, with the people that want to spend money. They're talking about the big step going forward, going to the European football. This is what it's all about. So that's what Steven Gerrard and the team will try to achieve next year.
Well,
I don't think they're close.
I totally don't agree. I think that would be the wrong way around, simply because Suarez is struggling to get in the first team, where he is at the moment, and
at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, but he's struggling. I mean, this aren't the side that's just won the La Liga and in the Champions League final. This is a side that have had a pretty poor season, and Suarez can't start in the big games there. So what makes you think that he could come here and be any better? I mean, with the Coutinho one, I fully understand it. You bring in a player who who has the quality. You just need to sort the fitness out. But what I would say is that he does have the opportunity, given him, not just himself as a character, but when you see what Villa try and do, that would be exciting for bigger stars to. I mean, Schick, for example, as a centre forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one that possibly Man City.
He's only about 26 now, I think, as well.
I mean, I buzz off him. I think that's the sort of player that Stevie could possibly attract here. I have to go back to the game today, because one thing we haven't said. I mean, as exciting as it was at times, there was a lot of unforced errors. And it's kind of tidying those little bits up as well to allow the likes of Coutinho, the likes of whoever they bring in next season, to actually benefit. And then you become the strong force, you said, contending with Europe. So top half of the table, potentially at the end of the season. His form is top half of the table, but it's those little tweaks that will have to be made.
I totally agree. European football is miles away from Aston Villa. But this is what the owners are talking. They talk about Jack Grealish leaving because they can't guarantee European football. They say we are 1 year short. That was last year. So next year they'll be expecting to push for Europe. But we forget that other teams are strengthening up. The other teams will be strong as well. So Steven Gerrard today, I think today was a big learning curve for him to see who can compete, he can count on for next season. Because we're not talking about getting to Europe. You need consistency. And you need quality. Because today Liverpool, they won't let their best, but the quality players, the key players, won them the game.
And you would also think that should he be the one to replace Klopp, years from now, they would want a manager with some European experience. So I guess you could say it's critical for Gerrard to get some, at least, if he really wants that job. Just putting it out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a romantic side to Stevie eventually getting up at Liverpool.
Well, even Robbie Fowler was saying it now about himself.
These guys love the club, and I always find it interesting when Stevie, as he said in the pre-match, it's kind of like, I get paid to Aston Villa to win games of football. It wasn't like I want to do one over my old club, because he would never say that. Having said that, if he could do what I think he could achieve with Aston Villa and get them on the cusp, if not into Europe, then that surely would give him the hunger, and if he's got the backing, like you say, with the owners, to go the next step. And if he could take Aston Villa to potentially, I know this is dream state as well, but potentially being up there with in the top 4 Champions League, then does he need to make the move? I like romance in a different way.
In a few years' time, potentially top 5, the coefficient coming into place.
Yeah, and a few years after that, top 7. I mean, how far down the league do we need to go?
To get to a Liverpool job, it's not just about Europe. You know, that's expected for if you want to go to Liverpool. You have to win something. You actually have to show that you can win something. You know, a silverware. You need to make sure that you can show that consistency. And until then, maybe his name could be mentioned. But I'll tell you what, if Klopp decide to go, there's going to be another 10 series. They're going to be ahead of Steven Gerrard at the moment and maybe in the future.
Well, I'd argue that Liverpool would already know who was replacing Jurgen Klopp in 10 years, let alone 4 years. So.